Welcome to Caching Waves. This is an Elliott wave update for ICP. Now in this video, I'm going to go over the larger time frame count as well as what I'm looking for from here to get involved in a trade. It's been quite a while since I updated this and we haven't really done much in ICP. We've just been drifting sideways. So I'll show you how that affects my viewpoint currently. But we'll start out on the 4 hour, and since the low at 282.5, have this as a wave 1, 2, extended third wave. We have a flat for our fourth wave and our fifth wave up to complete our wave 1. After that, we're looking for a three-wave correction down between the 50% and the 786 of the entire 5-wave move to the upside. Now, if you watch my previous videos, I ended up taking the golden zone trade here right at the 618. Stop was at the 66. I'm not in that trade anymore, but that was the best setup. We were looking for a buy up there at the 1-to-1 extension where Y equaled W, and we're right at that golden zone. And we were looking for this to continue to the upside like such. And you can see we did not get that, so our viewpoint slightly changed. Last video, we were expecting more of an ending diagonal. We discussed the fact that this could be a WX, and we were still within a zigzag and looking for an ending diagonal to complete. Didn't get that either. And we were also looking for this to potentially become a diagonal, looking for a long. So that one did pan out, although it has extended in time. So we're going to discuss what I think is potentially happening here. Now, there's a couple different scenarios I'm considering. This is a very difficult area right here, as you can see, just because there's so many possibilities. If you look from our low to our high here, all we are is internal. We're just drifting sideways, right? We haven't made a higher high. We haven't made a lower low between this range here. We've attempted to make higher highs. This didn't come to the 90%. I considered, okay, maybe this is a WXY XZ. But we didn't come to the 90%. I was looking for the flat potential there, where we come up to the 90% of this move to the downside, make a quick 5-wave move, and then we can actually attempt the upside. But we're not getting any clear wave counts, as you can see. So what I'm considering is we could still technically be within a B wave here of this final zigzag, although very extended in time, so it would have to get moving very quickly. Although B waves can extend for a very, very long time, it would have to be soon to have the right sort of look, right? Because we're talking about this being the Y wave right here, and this being a B wave triangle to the downside. So if we got that, I'd expect one more lower low attempt. I would be looking for at least a 618 extension of this A wave off this B wave whenever this triangle ends, looking at least for the 618. But I'm not going to put those measurements on now until we start moving. I'll be sure to update that. And the other thing I'm considering is the fact that we could actually be getting a triangle Y, which would be a W, X, and A, B, C, D, E. And our wave 2 actually ends up finishing here, and we start our third wave on the larger degree of this wave from this spot here. I don't like making that my primary count because it's just a very complex correction. We should stick to as simple as possible. So I'm keeping this in mind if we start accelerating quickly, because we would expect after a triangle completion that we get a fast thrust, right? So it's kind of the reaction I get in this area that will switch my bias as to where this correction is actually finishing. And to keep this intact, we would expect to hold this C wave low here, according to MACD, at 624.9. So we could get a little bit of overshoot here for this E wave and then reject very quickly to the upside. So that's something I'm paying attention to. But remember, in the scenario where this isn't complete yet, this can also be a triangle, but just to the downside, where we have A, B, C, D, E. So you can see we're kind of stuck between both counts, although I think I prefer this one. It just looks a little bit more having the right look. Okay, there is a bullish scenario. But what I don't like about this, I'll show you this. This is our wave 1 and 2. We came very deep in our wave 2. So we have a 1, 2. This does work as a diagonal. I measured our wave 3 within that diagonal. So if we have wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, remember third wave right here cannot be the shortest. Let me zoom in a little bit. And it does appear to be a 3-wave move. So it does count as a diagonal. You can see we didn't, third wave is not the shortest. There's our 1-to-1. So it does count as a impulse 5-wave and a diagonal wave 1. So between the triangle finishing here as A, B, C, D, E and a 1, 2, 1, 2, we're kind of going to get these similar response, right? Because a third wave we expect to get extended and be quite impulsive as well. So we're not going to know what count is what, right? Kind of depends further down in the future. Now, what I don't like about this is I had our pitchfork on there, and when we get a nice impulse, we expect to stay within this and get moving very quickly, right? So I have a modified pitchfork, which is just a channel, taking the beginning of wave 1 off of this wave 2, extend it out. This is more what we look for in corrections, right? This is just a base channel. So if we come up to the 1.618 extension of wave 1 off of wave 2, we're actually still kind of within this base channel. So it leaves the opportunity for this to become a 3-wave move, and we just come down. That's what I don't like about it. What else I don't like about this bullish scenario, again, it doesn't violate any rules, just like the right look and guidelines more than anything, is when we have a 1, 2 of one lesser degree than this one, we expect it to be a little quicker in time. So we actually expected it to 1, 2, and off we go, right? Not invalid, just something you look for. So right now I'm leaning more towards the triangle, either to the upside or the downside. We'll see the reaction. Or if we do get an impulse here, I'd like to see the third wave actually get extended. That's what I would prefer to see. Get an extension, break out of this base channel to the upside. When you break out of the base channel, that's when you would more likely make this a third wave rather than a correction, right? But right now the targets for the 1.618 are right at the edge of that base channel. So we shall see. So putting this all together, the way I would trade this personally is I'm a little more aggressive. This is not financial advice. I'm just telling you what I would do. I would wait for the break of this B wave, where we have this 3-wave move. That's potentially the E wave. I would wait for the break of this E wave above, and wherever this E wave pivots from, I would buy the breakout above. My stop would go at that E wave. And depending on the count, if you have like a 1, 2, 3 up like this, I would keep adjusting my stop to the last pivot, because I'm hyper aware that this can just turn over at any time, right? So I want to get my stop to break even as quickly as possible, but I would not be in this trade unless we break that level. And my stop would go at the E wave low. If you're a little more conservative, you can wait for the break of the D wave, stop at the E wave. That's another option. You just get less risk reward. But we also have to consider the fact that this is a B wave to the downside, right? In which case we get our A, B, C, D, and we can still break that level I just talked about and reverse. So that's where we just stop hunt that and reverse. That's why if we start to get a move, I would like to get my stop as quickly into as close to break even as possible, as quickly as possible, right? But if we got that B wave and say I do get stopped out there, and this would be an A, B, C, D, E, same idea. I would wait, if we got a 3-wave move up, I'd wait for the break of the B wave within the new E wave to the downside, and then my stop would go at that E wave. But I'd wait to get triggered in that. I'd want I'd want the market to come to me to give me a little more edge on my position, right? So that's what I'm looking for. Bearish scenarios have this as a triangle to the downside currently, and bullish scenarios triangle to the upside to complete our wave 2 as a complex combination, or our impulse as a 1-2-1-2. So in validation of the impulse 1-2-1-2 is that at 6-2-4-9, and of the triangle, the same thing, right? 6-2-4-9, the C wave. So that's what I'm looking for. At some point, we will get clarity on ICP, and usually after the fact, you tell yourself, oh, that was so easy. It was so simple to see, right? It's usually the way it goes. But the more you try to analyze this stuff in real time, the better you will become on it, and pay attention to the relevant pivots, right? And where the structure changes. So that's what I'm looking for right now, looking for to get a long above this level. Stop will go at that E wave low in the triangle scenario, or the second 1-2 in that scenario. If we reverse and I get stopped out, I'm going to move my stop as quick as possible. Then I might look for that short. I probably won't short it, to be honest, because we're getting pretty close to a bottom. More so looking for longs at the moment. But I did post a trade setup on my Twitter. You can check if you want to follow me on Twitter. There is a link in the description. I'll put it as the first posted comment. But once in a while when I see a good trade setup, I'll post it and let you know that I'm in something on Twitter, not always on YouTube. So that link will be in the description. Please be sure to like and subscribe. Hit the bell if you want the updates right away. And I will see you guys in the next one.